Okay. So as I said, interaction effect is main. So let me read this so that you will be getting better understanding. So what are all the points? I am repeating again. What are the points I have highlighted is very very key. While you are writing for exam or if it is asked for MCQ, it will be like this only. Okay. So for any industry here, it is given like for modern industrial processes, the interaction between the factors or process parameters are a major concern to many engineers and managers, and therefore it should be studied, analyzed, and also understood properly for problem solving and the process optimization problems. Okay, so main purpose of optimization is what? To improve the performance of any system, and also to reduce the cost involved, time associated with that process. We want to reduce the cost, time, but performance should be improved, improvised, right? So that is the purpose we are doing any process or process analysis we are doing, optimization also we are doing. So that is what it is explained. The interaction between the factors or process parameters, the factors, as I said in that another example, like engine running duration or fuel, what kind of fuel they are using, it is very like a factor. In that, multiple levels like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour duration, or in terms of fuel, in the sense, what kind of composition of fuel is that? Okay, so that is like natural fuel, or they added some other composition in that. Okay, or any additives they have added like that. So multiple factors are there. So, which interaction between the factors and the process parameter is affecting your processes, and also improvising the process and providing optimal solution is very very important. For many process optimization problem in industry, many process optimization problem in industry, the root cause of the problem, we have to identify, understand that the root cause of the problem is sometimes due to the interaction between the factors rather than individual effect of each factor. Okay, so commonly people will be doing in any industry settings, or even academical research point of view, people only consider any one factor. They will say, here, example I'm telling, like if you go for machining, in that machining, they will be telling, sir, I am using like a particular diamond tool. This time diamond tool only influencing my performance. What would be the performance in terms of machining using diamond tool? Maybe material removal rate. Okay, MRR. Generally, we say MRR, material removal rate. So they will be telling, sir, material removal rate directly influenced by diamond tool, because the tool is the main which is removing the material from the raw material. Okay, raw workpiece. So if my tool is good, or my tool is stronger enough, so I can able to remove lots of material in shorter time, so that number of workpiece I can able to make it like that. Some understanding will be there. So in real situation, if you take, okay, instead of using like a single point cutting tool with a mild steel, or like a high carbon steel, if you are using diamond tool, of course you can remove more material, and of course you can save the tool life. But whether that is the only one cause for a number of product being manufactured is less or more, no, maybe multiple factors like a rotation speed of the spindle, which we are holding our workpiece. But because in lathe operation, we will be keeping the raw material on the spindle, and the spindle speed maybe running with 1000 rpm, 1500 rpm, 2000 rpm, multiple speed. And again, not only tool, even though we are using tool, the depth of cut what we are giving. Okay, depth of cut maybe will be given 0.5 millimeter, 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeters, like millimeters we will be giving. So how much value or how much depth of cut we are giving and removing the material, what kind of speed we are using, whether manually we are giving the feed, or automatic manner we are giving the feed. Okay, it's all very very important. And also the coolant, what kind of coolant we are using. Okay, so many factors are there in terms of machining process. But the most of the industry, or most of the people generally will say, okay, sir, I feel like my tool is the main. So I decided like I changed the tool and I producing some output. No. What we have to do is, what are all the parameters or factors available? We have to record it all, analyze it using some proper design of experiment techniques or statistical tool, see that main effect in the sense cut like a depth of cut, what is the performance? Feed rate, what is the performance? Or what kind of tool we are using, what is the performance? Whether we are using coolant or not, what is the performance? Individually, we have to see as a main effect and also combination. If I give this depth of cut with the feed of a thousand spindle speed of 1000 RPM, or if I give like a depth of cut of 1 millimeters, spindle speed of 1500 or 2000 RPM, how this effect is happening? This interaction effect also we have to study. Then only we can able to optimize the process in the any industrial setting. That is what is given. So for many process optimization problems in industries, the root cause of the problem is sometimes due to the interaction between the factors rather than individual effect of each factor on the output performance characteristics. Here, performance characteristics means like what is needed for the customer. Okay, customer they may need some quality maybe or number of component maybe their requirement or surface finish maybe their customer requirement. Okay, I need surface finish like this, or I need number of product for from your side in this particular date, 1000 or 2000 component, or I need accuracy of 0.01 millimeter. Like that, they maybe give some requirement. So based on the requirement, we have to do the design of experiment and do the analyze the results what we are getting from the process optimization. So this is one of the taking you have to take from this slide. Then example, there is another one simple example. It is discussed here. So for wave soldering process, maybe long back we discussed about the soldering process. So one company they are doing a soldering process on the particular PCB boards using PCB lines. Okay, and they found lots of error, or they are finding like lots of defects from the process. Okay, so so they are finding the defects, various defects they are getting. So what is the problem here? If we are telling problem is defect, you solve it. If anybody telling like a problem is we are getting lots of defect, you solve it in the sense, is that right? No. We have to identify due to which reason the defect is occurring. So then only the problem will be rectified or parameters may be optimized. So that is what we have to first ask. So here the purpose is to reduce the number of defective solder joints obtained from the soldering process. Okay. So there is a process in that particular industry. They are doing soldering and they are getting lots of defects. Our purpose of doing experimentation is what? Identify the process parameter which is influencing the causes the defects, and how we can able to reduce the cost by changing something. Okay, so that is what purpose. So what they done, the person in the sense the manager or experimenter or production manager or team leader maybe in the industry, they thought, okay, so we are getting the complaint from the production shop or production line is lots of defect. Defects they are given like a 410 ppm. Ppm is parts per million. Okay, so in that existing system or condition, they are getting 410 defects they are getting. Okay, so that production manager will be maybe that senior level people will say, what is happening in your floor? Other floors are coming with less number of defects only, but you are going with 410. So you come up with your solution. Listen, that particular manager or engineer will be designing some, performing some experiment in that particular flow. How? So he will be performing a simple experiment to understand the influence of wave soldering process parameters on the number of defective shoulder joints. So what are the parameters or factors that he will be considering? So he will be considering various parameters or process parameters. What are the things? One is flux density. He will be considering flux density. So you, in terms of flux density, they are using two level. Okay, they are making. They have the range between 0.85 to zero point 0.9. Two level they are using 0.85 and 0.90 flux density. They will be with that only they do the soldering process. That is one process parameter. Another process parameter is they are using is conveyor speed. Okay, so how much feet per minute? 4.5 or 5.5. So two level they are using in terms of conveyor speed. Final one they are considering as the solder temperature in terms of degree centigrade, 230 or 260. So with these two process parameters level like a low level and high level, and three process parameters. So this is what the problem identification. So now they identified that there are defects. Which one causes the increasing the defects? They want to analyze. For that, they listed out what are all the controllable factors. Here, it's not uncontrollable factors. These are all comes under controllable factors. So, flux density, conveyor speed, and shoulder temperature with multiple two levels, low level and high level. This is what he designed. That experimental designed. Okay, these are all the factors. It has a two level. So he tried basically with the OVAT method, like one variable at a time approach. He planned and he done some experimentation. So in OVAT method means what? We long back we studied. What is that OVAT method? Basically, just to recall, I have given here. The method consists of selecting a start point or baseline set of level. So we have to set or start with the basic level of experimentation. Okay, for example, in this one, basic level will be what? Low level will be the basic level. In each process parameter, low level will be the basic level. Then we will be moving to the next level. That is the basic thing. So here, selecting a start point or baseline set of levels for each factor, and then successfully varying each factor over its range with the other factor held constant at the baseline level. So I will show the same example in detailed manner in the next page. After all the tests are performed, a series of graphs are usually constructed showing how the response variable is affected by each factor with all the say individually. So this is like an example which is for golf players. They might have used like different drivers, different ball, and mode of travel between one place to another place. What kind of beverages they are taking during between the shots. It's also important. Individually, you are how that individual factor is influencing the score. It is studied. It is main factor. Main effect of driver, main effect of ball, main effect of mode of travel, and main effect of beverage on your score, performance score. It is studied here. Okay. It is not discussing anything about the interaction effect. It's main effect only it is discussed. So what is meant by OFAT? We understand. So by considering this concept, how they designed. So here you have three process parameter: flux density, conveyor speed, shoulder temperature, and the fluid level. So as I said, start point or baseline. So what they done, they go with the first trial with all the process parameter at the baseline as they kept as a low level. Low level here is represented as a -1, high level represented as a +1. Okay. For easy understanding purpose, they are highlighted here. Whereas instead of giving all 0.8, 5, 0.9, it is also fine. When you go with the multiple data or numerous data, basically people will be highlighting with some simple representation. For low level, here they given like -1. For high level, they given +1. So initial stage, they setting with the baseline or base level or low level data. So for all the process parameter A, B, C, like flux density, conveyor speed, and shoulder temperature, they kept base level like -1, -1, -1. -1 in the sense low level, 0.85, 4.5, and 230 level. And they found the response value. Okay, they found the response value. What is the defects available? Like a ppm in the sense what? How many number of defects, parts per million defects. So they took that. Then next level, what they said, they changed one factor from the baseline to the next level, and the rest of the factors kept as a with the baseline itself. So now they change the next level for the first factor. First factor is flux density. They change it to zero point 0.9, like a +1 they given 0.9. Then the rest of the factors like B and C kept the same, like a constant without changing. Then they identify the process. They done the process and identify the how many number of defects they observed as a 370. Then initially they kept the increase the factor A, then they changed the factor B, but they kept the factor C as the same baseline value. They obtained the ppm as a 410. Then all other factors changed out. So here each time they changing one factor at a time and seeing the response. So this is the response. So this is the final one. So what is the understanding? We have to take it from this particular response. So that is what's stated here. The difference in the response between trial 1 and 2. Trial 1 and 2, for example, these two, first trial and second trial, provides an estimate of the defects of process parameter A. Okay, process from table 2, this one, each like a 370 and 420, there is a gap is minus 50. So it is estimated that if we are changing one parameter, like only changing the A parameter and keeping all other B and C as a base level, we are obtaining like a less defects, like a 50 products less. Okay, fine. But here other parameters kept constant. So there is no guarantee. We can ensure that whether only A is affecting or A is only reducing the defects. We can't able to show. Sure, because we kept the other parameters B and C is the same value. So what we have to do, or we have to test again and again for B and C separately. So in this above table, what is missing? What is missing? For example, if you analyze, we changed here like a B, A and B. We kept to see what is the difference here, and we changed all the things. What is the difference here? We can able to calculate. But what is missing here? In the above experiment, the response values corresponding to the combination of A at low level and B at high level, and A at low level, C at high level, and B at low level and C at high level are missing. We haven't not done anything because this one variable at time approach is following this principle only. So the combination is missing. So we can't be able to decide from the one variable at a time that this is the optimal process parameter we have to use so that we can able to minimize the defects. Not at all possible. So therefore, one variable at a time to experimentation can lead to unsatisfactory conclusion, and in many cases, it would even lead to false optimization condition. Definitely, the person who done with this, he'll be getting some solution, he'll be getting some output or some conclusion he'll be giving, but it is not optimized one. But what he used to do, he will say that I can use this because I done some experimentation using OVAT method, I got this result, he will say. But at the long run, if we go again, the defects will be the same or it will increase, it may increase further. Again they will come back and use suggested some solution. It won't, it is not providing the it is not reducing the defect. So again they will be searching for new method. So analyzing multiple method is very important, or considering all the possible combination for process parameters very important. Okay, so interaction occur when the effect of one process parameter depends on the level of the other process parameters. In other words, we can say that the effect of one process parameter on the response is different at different level of other process parameters. It's very important. In order to study the interaction effects among the process parameters, we need to vary all the factors simultaneously. It is told by these guys during 2000 itself. So we have to vary all the factors simultaneously, and we have to see what is the output value or performance or response. That is what needed. So in that same example, instead of using one variable at a time, they want to try with the full factorial method. So full factorial method is will be considering the all the possible combination of factors. Instead of only four factors, consider four levels we done. It will be considering all the factors. So and also if we use maybe the results are shown next page, I will show that. And also we have to consider if we do go with multiple level of trials performance, what we have to remember, we have to remember to do the randomization. So each trial condition was randomized to minimize the effect of undesirable disturbances or external factors which were uncontrollable or expensive to control during the experiment. So first criteria, they thought instead of one variable at a time, they are trying with a full factorial experimentation. In the full factorial experimentation, they will be giving chances for all the factors and they will be performing simultaneously the same sequence of instead of doing the same order, they will be randomizing the process in order to avoid any uncontrollable influence of uncontrollable factors on the output. Okay, so these two things you have to remember. So this is the same condition. So how they do the full factorial design? Generally, full factorial, maybe in this criteria there is a 3. So that's why I given 2 power 3 full factorial experiment. So this will be in terms of like a cube manner they will be explaining. So what are all the things? So in terms of effects, what are all the effects? These are all the main effects. So these are all the main effects. These are all the like interaction effect like that we can say. Maybe they want to write like a 2 power 3 things in the sense how many 2 power 3 will be 8 runs we have to do. Oh, that is what full factorial design. So means all 8 right. But what we done in one variable at a time, we run only 4 trial. Other 4 trial were missing in terms of one variable at a time because that is the limitation of one variable at a time method. But full factorial is considering all the factors. So 2 power 3 full factorial experiment is an 8 run we can do. So run number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will be like this. Up to 8 is like this. In that sense, as I said, initially they used to keep all in the base level and see the interaction effect also. Base level is -1, -1, 1, -1, and the combination AB, AC, BC, and ABC. All three levels there between factor 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, or 3 and 1, or combination of factor 1, 2, 3. Everything is reported here clearly. Okay, so like this only the software, or if we manually, if we calculate in the sense, we have to make the table in this manner only. So that is all represented in terms of matrix. Okay, -1, -1, 1 is where. So starting with here, next level, next level, next level. Here, as I said long, again and again, we should not go with this same sequence like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the standard order of doing the experiment. So what is recommended in terms of design of experiment procedure? We have to randomize. Instead of running standard order, we have to randomize. How we can able to do? See, this is the standard order. This is the standard order, but in order to avoid the influence of uncontrollable factors, we have to randomize that. So this is the randomized order. We can randomize in n number of ways. Here, one example they given, and this is the combination of factor level and output response. So this output response in the sense what? For combination A, B, when they do the combination AB, they got the 420 error, and BC, they got like a 412. Like that, they got multiple responses. Like response in the sense what? Product defects, how many number of product defects they got. So this is output from the full factorial experiment. So in that full factorial experiment, how we can able to find the interaction? This is the equation you have to remember. So as it is in full factorial experimentation, it is possible to study all the interactions among the factors A, B, and C. The interaction between process parameters A and B, for example, I'm telling for A and B, can be obtained using the following formula, like a interaction of factor A and B equal to half of effect of A and B in terms of B, high level of B, then in terms of B, low level of B. With that, they are calculating. See, where E A of B plus in the sense, in that A at high level, they kept the A at high level, B at high level. The next level is where they kept the A is high level, B at the low level. So they are changing only B, high level, low level, but they are keeping the A at the high level only, and C calculating the interaction effect of I. So this equation you have to remember. So by doing that, what they get, they will be getting this kind of value, average value. So from the above example, what we can able to get two order interaction. So definitely we'll be getting two order interaction, and a third order interaction can be studied. Third order interaction in the sense what? A into B into C. We can get two order interaction AB, BC, AC. We can able to get from each trial, and like that is what I given. Like what in that we can get AB, AC, BC, or ABC. We can able to get. So mostly people won't be going with ABC. They will be going with either AB or AC or BC interaction. Most very rare case only they will be seeing ABC. So because you can't able to get combination of all the factors and see all these factor influencing. Generally, research papers or many people who do experimentation, they will be going with two-factor interaction only, either AB or AC or BC, like that. They won't considering ABC altogether. Third order and high order interaction are not often important for process optimization problems and therefore not necessary to be studied. Okay. So even though the statistical tool or software will be giving you the result, but not necessary to consider the all three combination. Only go with any two factors. Okay. In order to study the interaction between A in the sense flux density and B is the conveyor speed, it is important to form a table for average defects value at four possible combination. What are the four possible combination? For particularly they are considering here A, B only. Maybe if you consider BC, you can able to make separate table, and if you consider AC, you can able to make the separate table. So here, for example, they are showing here as A, B combination. So in that A, B combination, low level, and they're then changing that B next level and changing A in high level and B in low level, like vice versa, they are changing. Okay, and they are getting the average of defects. So that average of defects can be obtained using this method. That interaction value they can able to find out. From that, they are calculating what is the main interaction between A and B. The main interaction between A and B can be obtained from here. Okay. So at the level of high level, by keeping B at high level, what is the value? 378.75 minus 311 by 0.50. So they calculated from here 378 and 311. First one is they are keeping like a high level of B and where is that the given? Okay. Only they are keeping high level of B alone. They are keeping high level of B alone and they calculated this parameter. And they are keeping the B low level. B low level at 2 point. -1, -1. B low level in 2 point. 398.75 and 409.25. So that is what represented here. They calculated two parameter. Okay, these two parameter. Then they are identifying the interaction between A and B. That is what this equation. A at high level, sorry, B at high level and B at low level, and they found out this value and substituting that in that particular value. So they're getting that the interaction between A and B is 28. In the sense what factor A and B influencing 28.37 defects. Okay. That is what you have to take. If you are considering only factor A, maybe it is providing like influence of B on A, maybe providing 67. But the influence of B, like a low level of B on A, it is producing 10.5. But interaction between A and B combination, we can finally say that 28.37 defects due to the combination of A and B. This is what you have to take. So interaction, understanding of interaction is very, very important. And another concept, for interaction, we have to make or we have to represent in terms of graph only. But then only people can understand. The graph looks like this one, the interaction effect. See in this graph, the y-axis given with the defects, number of defects, or ppm in terms of average value they have given, and here conveyor speed. Another one is the flux density. So two things it's represented in terms of this graph. This is called interaction graph. It's not representing the main effect. It is representing only interaction. If main effect in the sense, as I showed for golf example, only one parameter like a y-axis will be mean, x-axis will be conveyor speed alone. You won't be having any flux density. But here interaction effect is given. So here one the black color line is telling flux density at low level. So what is the flux density at low level? What is the value? Flux in low level 0.85 and high level 0.9. So remember that. So this black color line is telling flux density at low level, and the red color dot with the dashed line is representing the flux density at the high level. Simultaneously, these values here is telling about conveyor speed at the low level and conveyor speed at the high level. So two factors, process parameters and which is represented with respect to the number of defects presented here. This is the interaction effect graph. Okay, whenever you are reporting your results in terms of graph, like a line graph for your experimentation, you have to give main effect graph also. Simultaneously, you have to give the interaction effect plot. Okay, in terms of line graph, in the sense, clearly you have to give that which one you are representing, whether conveyor speed here or flux. You can draw in vice versa. Maybe you can keep here flux density, and also you can make it this one as a conveyor speed also. The graph might look in different way, but that is also possible. Okay, which one you want, you can choose. Okay, so this is the interaction graph. So why I am explaining that for to understand a little more better in this statement, in order to determine whether two process parameters are interacting or not. If you want to say two processes are interacting or not, one can use a simple but powerful graph tool called an interaction graph, which is very important. Then only people will understand. Instead of showing the table or numerical numbers, quantity numbers, if you are saying, they won't understand it. We have to represent in terms of graph, interaction graph, so that people will take that inferences more easily. So if the lines in the interaction plots are parallel, for example, the lines which I showed is not parallel, maybe having some angle, right? If the lines are parallel, there is no interaction between the process parameters. Okay, there is no interaction between the process parameter. Means what? That value, the interaction value which we obtained from the previous equation will be very low. Okay, if the interaction value is very high, in the sense what? The graph or lines in that interaction graph won't be parallel. It may be having lots of deviation from each other. Okay, this implies that change in the mean response from low to high level of a factor does not depend on the level of the other factor. Okay, so in the sense that factor B low to high, if we are changing, it is not influencing anything on the factor A. That is what we have to say. Take it if the lines are parallel. If the lines are not parallel, in the sense the factor B is influencing the effect of factor A. That is what we have to take. On the other hand, if the lines are non-parallel and interaction exists between the factors, the greater the degree of departure from being parallel, the stronger the interaction effect. Okay, we have to understand this one very clearly. The lines are parallel in the sense what? There is no interaction, and one factor is not influencing the another factor, like a B, factor B is not affecting the factor A largely. We have to take it in that sense. If the lines are not parallel, in the sense, first inference what we have to take is there exists some interaction between these two factors, and we have to see how it is not parallel, how much deviation is there. If the deviation is more, greater the deviation or departure from the parallel, the stronger the interaction effect between the two factors. That is what we have to take. So this is the main understanding you have to take for interaction. So that is what represented here. As I explained, the interaction graph between flux density and conveyor speed shows that effect of conveyor speed on the defects, maybe ppm, otherwise you can say like a defects, at two different level of flux density is not the same. See, here it's not the same, here also it's not the same. There is lots of deviation. This implies that there is an interaction between these two parameters. The defect rate is minimum when, where is minimum? Here. Defect rate is minimum, sorry, defect here is very low, because defect is 310 to 410. Defect rate is very minimum when conveyor speed at high level, flux density at low level. So this is black color line is what? Flux density at low level, and one positive one represents conveyor speed at the high level. So what is the conclusion they are telling? Based on the interaction effect, the defect rate is minimum when conveyor speed at the high level and the flux density at the low level. So this is the takeaway we can able to give it to the next level people to make some conclusion. Okay, this is very important. So until otherwise, if we are doing interaction graph or interaction analysis, we can't able to. So in mathematical softwares, or sorry, in statistical software, definitely we'll be giving what? We will be giving the number of values, number of calculations only. For example, like -1, 1 or 1, 1, that kind of combination, or we will be inputting only these data. Maximum we will be giving these data. Finally, it will be giving full factorial experiment, like how many number of combination, what is the value, how this is calculated. So if possible, next class I will show in some software how to feed the data and how to see this kind of graph. Okay, I will show that. I should have done today. Sorry, I'll explain in the upcoming classes. Then this is one method. What we calculated is one method of doing calculating the interaction effect between the process parameter. So this is explained only for process A, process parameter A and B. If we implement process parameter for B and C, we'll be getting separate value. Similar like this one, we can able to get interaction between process B and C, or interaction between process parameter A and C, we will be getting. Then similarly, we can able to draw interaction graph for process parameters A and B, or sorry, A and C, or B and C, and we can get conclusion, or we can infer from the graph like this. Okay, so people used to write a technical paper like this only, they will write. So what do they do? Similar like interaction effect, they will be making three graphs. One for AC, AB, second one for AC, third one for BC. That the three interaction graph will be there. From three interaction graph, they will be able to get this kind of conclusion. Then that is what results, or that is what called as a discussion in the paper, technical paper. When you are writing journal article, when you are writing, that is called as a like a inference from the graph, that is written in terms of a discussion. Okay, so similarly in the discussion, people will be also telling that some other company or some other researcher might have done this kind of study. They might have also concluded that like a flux density is like a flux density is at low level is reducing the defects, like that they might have concluded or they might have published it. So your statement, you have to write it, and also you have to cite that those people also claiming this kind of result, like that you can. So that is what you are writing in terms of discussion. So in terms of theory subject, you have to draw this graph and you have to write these inferences from the graph what you are doing. Okay. In other words, in other way of calculating the interaction effect, two order interaction, how we can able to. Previously, we calculated one method. In another method, how we can able to calculate in the sense. So like A, B, it is there low level. Then keeping A at low level, changing the B at high level. Then A at high level and keeping B at low level, and keeping both at the high level. So A into B will be telling like this. Okay, A into B will be telling like that, and we can able to get the different values for A and B. A at low level and B at low level. Of course, we will be getting some values from the experimenter, and we can able to keep. But in this, how we can able to calculate the interaction in a different way. Okay, previously we calculated in different method. Now they are calculating in this way, like a average defect rate at high level of A and B minus average defects at the low level of A and B. So that is what they are calculating. So first one, average of high level and average of low level. With this, they are calculating the interaction effect, 28.37. What is the value we got? 28.37. Here also the same value. Here also the same value. But the method of calculating that interaction effect is different. So first we have to calculate the high level, only keeping high level and find the value. So 398 and 378, keeping everything at high level, keeping it means between A and B. So high level means +1 and +1. By keep considering the third column alone, I am telling +1, what is the value? 398.75, 379.75. And in terms of low level, these two values, and keeping this and calculating the interaction effect. This is also one of the method of calculating the interaction effect. But in terms of previous method, It's not about a high level or low level at O totally. Okay, they used different method. They used B at low level than B at a high level. Okay, so second factor they changed, but in terms of here they used total high level and total low level by making interaction of A and B in this way. And another, this is graph is representing same thing, but like interaction between defect versus shoulder temperature and how the flux density is affecting. Okay, so maybe you can from here we can able to get the previous graph is explaining conveyor speed and flux density interaction, but this graph is explaining about temperature, shoulder temperature level is 230 and 260, and the flux density how it is. So here again the black color line is representing the like a low level of flux density, and the red color dotted line is representing the high level of flux density. And in terms of here, so what is the inference we can say? So which one is minimal? Where the defect is minimal? The defect is minimal at this point. So what we can take? So defect is low or minimal when flux density at low level and shoulder temperature at high level. This is the inference we can able to take, because here shoulder temperature is high level 1, and this black color line is representing what? Flux density at the low level. So inference will be what? When flux density at low level and shoulder temperature at high level, we can expect low level of defects. This is what we can able to take from this graph, from this interaction graph. So the graph shows the same thing. The graph shows that the effector shoulder temperature at different levels and almost same. Moreover, the lines are almost parallel. Even though it's almost parallel, little interaction. It is not parallel because previously there are lots of difference or like a deviation is there, but here almost parallel but slight difference only. So there is little interaction is there. The interaction plot suggests that mean shoulder defect rate is minimal when shoulder temperature is high and flux density at low. That is what we given. Okay, so we have to note that non-parallel lines are an indicator of the existence of interaction between two factors, and parallel lines indicate no interaction. But if there any little deviation, we have to find out whether the deviation is there little or not. Exactly, we have to calculate. That is what mathematical numbering only. No? From numbering, we can able to find out. Okay, so this one you have to take from this method. So next topic with this is like a interaction, two types of interactions. Like in that two interaction, first we have to understand that process parameters. The continuing with the process parameter, we have a fixed process parameter and also random process parameter. Whether how we are selecting the process parameter, first we should understand that. Okay. So in terms of fixed process parameter, in the sense what? Fixed process parameter of effects occur when the process parameter levels included in the experiment are controllable and specifically chosen because they are only ones for which inference are described. Okay, so it should be selected particularly on that parameter, process parameter only. In our previous example, we have selected 3 and multiple level, 2 level. That is particularly selected, like a 260 degree centigrade or 280. Similarly, flux density also particularly selected. That is considered as a controllable factors. So that is we can consider as a fixed process parameter. For example, if you want to determine the effect of temperature at two level, like 180 and 210, on the viscosity of any particular fluid, then both 180 and 210 are considered as a fixed process parameter. In our previous example, flux density, conveyor speed, shoulder temperature, they have that level of 0.85 and 0.9 is considered as a fixed process parameter. Okay. Another one is the random process parameter. So random process parameter effects are associated with those parameters whose levels are randomly chosen. Okay, we are not selecting specifically from the control factor, the particular value. We are randomly choosing something from the large population. So large population in the sense what? We are making we are fabricating 2,000 components, or we are fabricating 1,000 vehicles. So from the 1,000 vehicle, you are randomly choosing few component, few vehicle, like 10 vehicle, randomly, not in specific order, and you are testing for the performance. Then that kind of process will be comes under process parameter, will be comes under random process parameter. Inferences are not usually desired on the specific parameter level included in the annexment, but rather on the population level. So it won't tell the particular process parameter, it will be representing the whole process, whole population. For example, when we are measuring, some example I can say is like an anthropometry measurement. So hope you guys know what is meant by anthropometry. So anthropometry is like measuring body dimensions. So, what is the length? What is the height? What is the width of our body? What is the joints? What is the length between each joint we have? Or what is the height from the ground to the knee joints? Okay, our hip joint, how much? And when we do like this, what is this length? Everything is very important, which is like called as anthropometric data. So anthropometric data is needed for what? In order to design many things, in order to design your like a fish chair, or according to the shape and size, maybe the vehicle interior can be designed, or cockpit of any airplane or jet you can design, or bike also you can able to design. Similarly, furnitures in your office furnitures or classroom furniture, even sometimes outfit you can able to design. And also you can design like a helmet or glasses, many things you can able to design if we have the data of human anthropometry. So when prepare a database of human data, anthropometry data, do you think it is whether they are measuring from each and every people? Actually we are measuring, like we are going nowadays to the showroom, and buying some ready-made shirts and pant or t-shirts and all. Like fixed sizes will be there, X, XL, large, like medium and all different size. Otherwise 100, 105, 110, 90, 95 and all. It is brand fixed one according to country. Like India one, they will be rated with some scale. If you go with US, different standard, and some other country, European countries, if you go, they have some standard. But the data from where they are measuring or fixing that is from the anthropometric data. So each and every country trying to make some effort to prepare a database. But frankly speaking, for our Indian, we don't have any size India database. If you go to some countries, size US, there is a database where you will be having a multiple data representing all the age group people and their size. If you go to Korea, they have a database called Size Korea. In that, anthropometry of each and all the Korean people's data is there. Similarly, Size Japan, Size China, like that is there. But in India, we don't have, because population more, and we are not given importance for the customer point of view. Still, we are using either UK standard, even footwear sizes. Mostly, we are referring UK sizes only because they ruled us more. So we are following the same system. So generally, what they do, each country like that, when they prepare a database, in the sense, they select some random people. Okay, they select random people from the whole population. Consider like one small country, like what was I where to say, Korea. If you take Korea, they make Korea is a small, very smaller than our India, but they consider Korea in terms of Korea. What they do, they divide like 4 or 5 region. Okay, in that five, from each 5 region, each region they randomly choose some people with all the age group. For example, 0 to 9 age group, they choose some people, and 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 60, like that, they choose randomly some people, and they measure the data. And they will statistically prove that If they measured from 5,000 people, that 5,000 people with the age group of what to say, like 20 to 30, that 5,000 people data will be representing the whole population with that age group in that particular country. They will be representing. That kind of data, if you are choosing, that is called the random process parameter. That output what we are getting, like a 5,000 data we are getting and representing in the sense that 5,000 randomly selected data is representing the whole population. This understanding you have to take. So that is what I'm telling. In India, we are lack in that. We have to do more. But when you guys are doing some project, or not only for anthropometry, I'm telling. If you go for any industry and you are making like uh, production, mass production, you are making mass production some component like a washing machine, a mixer, grinder, some appliances, I'm telling, or you are making some engines, you are making. In that sense, randomly you have to take from the mass production some thing. For example, your batch production, you're making 1,000 components you are making. From that batch, you have to take 20 samples and test that. And you will see that if the 20 sample is passing, clearing the test, what you are doing on the 20, if pass the test, you will be accepting all 1,000 components. If the 20 is failed to clear the test, you will be completely throwing away the 1,000 component. Okay. So that is what random process parameter. So selecting random process parameter has multiple advantage. One, you no need to test each and every. But disadvantages, if the selected process parameters or samples is failed your test, then it will lead to rejecting the whole batch. Okay, that is like a time and cost involved will be all gone. Okay, so selecting random process parameter is very important, but mostly people used to go with the fixed process parameter. You have to take this sense. Then that these two interaction, I want to say synergistic effect. What does it mean? In multiple understanding, I have given in different colors. I have given here for you guys to take it easily. So this interaction means that the effect of two chemicals taken together is greater than the sum of their separate effect at the same dose. Okay. An example, some fertilizer they are given. Okay, leave that. Another explanation I'm giving here is combined effect of two factors is greater than the individual factor on the response. You will be having the response for sure from the experiment. If you consider one factor, what is the response? You will be considering another factor, what is the response? But if we combine both that factors and see that response, that will be greater than if you are seeing the individual. That is what? Combined effect of two factors is greater than the individual factors on the response. In other words, when higher level of one independent variable enhances the effect of another independent variable, means one factor will enhance the value of the another factor. So if you have two factor, that one first factor will enhance the value of the another factor. Then we can say that kind of interaction is the synergistic interaction. Another one is the effect of two chemical is actually less than the sum of effect of the two drugs taken independently each other. Okay. The combined effect of two factors is lesser than the individual factor on the response. The previous combined effect of two factors is greater. Something is influencing. One factor is influencing the another factor to enhance. But in terms of this one, combined effect is minimal or lesser than if you are studying individually. In the sense, the another one factor is not influencing the another factor. So this is what, in other words, when main effect is non-significant and interaction is significant, in this situation, the two independent variables tend to reverse each other. So it will decrease, it won't enhance the another factor, it will reduce the another factor. Okay, this is what you have to take. So in terms of synergistic interaction effect, we can say that the lines, the same conveyor speed and flux density graph I'm telling, there won't be any crossing between the lines if we are. Means it is providing the combination of two factor providing what? Response, greater response. Means one factor is influencing or enhancing something. That is what here. So here either flux density or conveyor speed enhancing something of the performance. Means here in terms of performance what? Reducing the defect. But in terms of here, just they are giving. They're not given any label here. The graph is like lines are crossing in the sense one factor is not influencing the other factor to reduce the or to increase the performance, or in terms of here reducing the defects. Okay, so this is what you have to take from these two interactions. I think this is the last topic in this. I think so. Another thing like statistical thinking. One more topic is missing from here. The statistical thinking and its importance concept. I will continue that one in the coming class. Okay. So what are the point I have discussed? Main point we discussed today is the interaction. So what is meant by interaction? Why that interaction is very much needed? Okay, and how to